Mr. Batten for 1 minute.
Last year we saw the Schengen system buckle under the strain of mass migration, and some member states sought to introduce unilateral controls. The revisions of the rules is an attempt to keep the lid on a boiling pot, but it's too little and too late. It only allows some countries in very exceptional circumstances, or it only allows some controls in very exceptional circumstances for a limited period of time. It's too little, too late. An open borders policy could only work between countries with very similar and stable economic and cultural natures. The EU's open borders policy is a disaster for ordinary people and has created enormous social problems. This has all been done in pursuit of a political ideology not shared by the people of Europe. That ideology, of course, is that the continent of Europe is a single country, a United States of Europe, which obviously it is not. The EU is out of touch with reality, and in a contest between reality and ideology, reality always wins in the end.
Thank you, Mr. Batten.
Mr. Goebbels?
And Ms. Morvai.
Also, you have had a great success because you have 2 blue cards. One from Mr. Goebbels and the other from Mrs. Morvai. Do you accept them?
Sure, why not?
Yes?
Yes.
Good, excellent. Monsieur Goebbels, s'il vous plaît.
Monsieur le Président, Monsieur Batten.
President, Mr. Batten has just told us that European policy on border controls is a great disaster. Now, we know that the United Kingdom is not part of the Schengen zone. Could Mr. Batten explain to me why there are so many illegal migrants in a country which isn't part of the Schengen zone? Why do you have such a problem with immigration?
And now, Mrs. Morvai. Mrs. Morvai?
Thank you very much. With all due respect to Mr. Batten and our other Western European friends, as an East European, let me ask you if you want to reconsider basically the whole idea of the free movement of workers and free movement of people within the European Union. Would you kindly reconsider the free movement of capital as well? In that case, we East Europeans are more than happy to close our borders in front of Western capital and get our own economy back. Thank you very much.
Mr. Batten, you have the floor.
Do I get 30 seconds? Or Right. Border controls are a disaster. Mr. Goebbels. Yes, Britain isn't in the Schengen system, but we still suffer from the effects of it because it's very much easier for people to get to Calais and make that final hop over to Britain. And you're quite right, even though we are supposed to have border controls, immigration policy is a disaster in my country. And it's not just because of the European Union, it's because of the complete inability and lack of will of British governments to actually put in proper immigration controls and carry them out. So I agree with you that it's a disaster in my country that's not entirely of the making of the EU. In answer to Mrs. Morvai's question regarding the free movement of peoples, no, we don't believe in the free movement of peoples in my party. We believe in the controlled immigration and controlled border policy. We don't want to stop immigrants, we don't want to stop people coming, but we want it to be controlled by our government in the interest of the British people and not in the interest of a political ideology which they don't share. And if you're going to control people, it's a lot easier to do than capital, which is often numbers on a computer, and I understand the problems there, but we want to see policies in a whole range of areas in the interest of the British people and then ultimately in the interest of everybody else.
Thank you, Mr. Batten. Now, for 1 minute.